Hello, this is Catherine as I know I need to stop talking. Hello, my loves, I've missed you. It's been 2 weeks, a whole week of no podcasting, which may have been a blessed relief to your ears. But yeah, I had a week off, and I had a week off for a really good reason, because I fulfilled a little one of a lifetime ambition last weekend. And I can't decide whether you'll listen to this and you'll go, oh my God, that sounds amazing. Or if you'll listen to this and go, oh my God, you are one of the most tragic individuals we've ever come across. But you know what? Either of those is absolutely fine, because we all have our things, right? We all have our things that we love. And long-time blog readers will know one of my things that I love is I love music. I love classical music, and I love the Royal Albert Hall. It is just one of my favourite places in the entire world ever. And every year I always try and go along to one of the Proms concerts, because I think they're such a great way to make classical music accessible to everybody. You can get tickets on the day for £6. And if you live far away from London, you can watch pretty much all of the concerts on the TV, listen to them on the radio. So I love the whole ethos and the principle of the Proms. So I've been earlier on in the season. And I'm nearly 40, and from the very first time that I walked into the Albert Hall, when I must have been 8 or 9, and found out there was this thing called the Proms, and found out about the last night of the Prom and watched it on the television, I have coveted a ticket to the last night of the Proms like you would not believe. But it's basically impossible to get one, because to get a ticket in normal times, and goodness me, as we know, we are very much not in normal times, but in normal times, you either have to be very lucky and you go in a raffle type thing and you maybe get a ticket, or you have to queue up on the day, or you can go and attend 5 different Proms concerts and then you go into a separate raffle to get tickets. There's a fucking nightmare. It's worse than trying to get a car parking space in the supermarket on Christmas Eve. It's a bloody nightmare. And I understand why they have to do it, because demand outstrips supply and yada. And so I have tried for fucking years to get a ticket to the last night of the Proms, and I've never been successful. And you know what? That's all right, because I can watch it on the television and it's still absolutely amazing. But this year, I got a ticket to the last night of the Proms, and it was late one night and I was in bed dicking around on my phone, and I had the ticket page up because I thought, well, I'll just see if there's any returns, because, you know, this year, pandemic, maybe not everybody's necessarily comfortable going to the theatre or to the Albert Hall. I'll just have a little look. And never in a million years, I mean, literally my expression when suddenly the loading page changed from there are no tickets available to here is a ticket. And you can have it. And then I had that mad thing of, oh my God, it's a ticket. Oh my God, last night of the Proms. No, surely. And then I was like, oh my God, is it fake? Is it real? I'm sitting up in bed. It's 10:30 at night. I'd usually be well asleep by this time. I don't like going to bed late. I'm hysterically trying to type it in. Needs my password. Fuck, what's my password? I put the wrong fucking password in. I'm locked out of my account. Oh my God, I'm not going to get this ticket. I'm so emotionally invested by this stage. I keep telling myself, keep calm, Catherine, keep calm. I am so not calm. I'm the least calm I've ever been in my entire life. Then it wants my bank details. I've got a new bank card. Can I remember the number? No, yes. Oh my God, it needs a different bank card. Can I get back in? Where's the link to reset my password? It's not come through. So this is the emotional roller coaster that I'm on, until eventually I pressed select and the ticket went into my basket and I paid, and then I got the confirmation email through. I was going to the motherfucking last night of the Proms, and I was hysterical. I got up and went out of bed, and it was the school holidays, so Beth was still up. I say that, I mean, I have no control over getting my children to bed ever. That is not one of my strengths as a parent at all. But Beth was still up, and I was half sobbing, half laughing as I ran down the stairs with no clothes on. Goodness, there's a mental image for you all. Ran down the stairs with no clothes on, and Beth casually, because she's Beth, walked out to look at me and went, very matter of fact, has somebody died? I said, no, nobody's died. And she was like, well, you're crying, so I just assumed someone was dead. And I was like, I've got last time, let's take a last time. Literally incoherent, couldn't get words out. And she looked at me and she's like, oh, is that all? And then I went in to see Mr. I know I need to stop talking. And I said, I've got a ticket to the last night at the Proms. And he was very kind of happy and supportive for me, whilst at the same time making it really clear from the expression on his face, he thought I was absolutely off my fucking rocker, and that's probably fair. But then, even though I had a ticket, and particularly, and I don't know if anybody else is like this, but particularly in these mental fucking times that we live in now, I just didn't believe that it would actually happen. I thought I would get COVID, I'd be self-isolating, they'd have to cancel the concert, aliens would come down and pluck my car off the road as I drove to the Albert Hall. You know, I was that kind of levels of extremes of possibilities happening. But it did. It happened. And I went. And I thought in my own head, maybe I have hyped this up more than is realistic. Maybe actually it's going to be a little bit of a letdown. Oh, it was so not a letdown. It was unbelievable, and however amazing it looks on the TV, and I think it is amazing on the TV, they do an amazing job of filming it. I cry my eyes out every single year because it's just so perfect. Nothing could have prepared me for sitting in that auditorium. I'd been really lucky. I'd got an amazing seat, an amazing ticket. And yes, they were. So this definitely was not a £6 ticket. This was an expensive ticket. But I was like, it's a once in a lifetime experience to go and do this. So I sat in the stalls, right in the centre of the arena, so facing onto the stage. And I cannot describe what it felt like to sit there. And I think it would have been amazing if I got to go at any point in my life, right? Let's make no bones about it. It's an amazing night, amazing music, amazing atmosphere. But to be in that room, knowing that last year, the Proms went ahead last year, but for obvious reasons without an audience, to be in that room with thousands of people, I think the capacity of the hall is like 5,000 people, and to hear the sound and the music and the applause and the laughter and the sheer gratitude in the voice of the conductor as he spoke to everybody and said how grateful he was to that they were able to perform live to an audience again. And then to hear everybody's voices ringing out in kind of like all the big classics. I mean, I was in absolute bits. When I got back, the kid said to me, "Did you cry?" I said, "Did I cry?" I sobbed from the start of the second half to the end of the second half. I then sobbed all the way on the walk back to my car, and then I cried for most of the journey home in a safe way, just to be really clear. But it was like nothing I can ever. I was like pinching myself going, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is here. It was such a privilege to be there. Honestly, yes, I'm a massive classical musical fan. Yes, I absolutely love the Proms. I love the Albert Hall. But actually, I struggle to think of anybody who wouldn't have been visibly moved being there in the hall. It was just unbelievable. And in these weird times where I have definitely learned to take nothing for granted, I can't describe how special it was. Just unbelievable. So yeah, I was a bit of an emotional wreck. So I was kind of like going to go, sort of come back, and obviously drove back. It's very late at night by the time I got home. I was like, I should really do a podcast. And I was like, do you know what? I think it's all right. I think you guys would be okay with the fact that I'm a bit of an emotional wreck. It's probably good I've waited a week, because I think if I'd recorded this last week, you'd have just got oh my God, the Proms, I love the Proms, guys. Which is basically what Mr. I Know I Need to Stop Talking To was treated to when I got home. He went, how was it? Oh yeah, the Proms, it was so I think I'm slightly more coherent this week, but it was just phenomenal. It really was. And as I say, I take nothing for granted anymore, but this was almost beyond description, and it's just a pinch me moment to when you've spent, what is that, like 25, 30 years waiting to do a thing for it to actually happen. I have no words. I am so grateful. It was a fucking brilliant night, and I'm still wiping off the stains of all of my fucking eyeliner that I cried down the side of my face. There's a obviously I did that tragic thing. I don't think I should confess to this, but I think it's important to be honest on the podcast. I absolutely recorded the TV program The Last Night of the Proms and then went through it in slow motion to see if I could spot myself, and I did, singing the national anthem towards the end, and I forced the children to come down and watch. Beth was like, why are you traumatised? And Jamie's looking at me like, you look like you've had some terrible thing happen to you, because I do look absolutely hysterical. But it was just glorious. So that's why I wasn't here last week, and I missed you all loads, and I genuinely did miss recording a podcast. But it was just amazing. It was just amazing, and it was a really lovely week. The week before last was just one of those weeks, really irritating week, compounded by moments like the moment that I shared on the blog when I was out walking and then realised that I'd done like a 4-mile walk along some really busy main roads with my flies wide open. And I do mean wide open. I know sometimes people say, I have my flies open, and you think, nah, you had a long top on and they were hardly open. I mean, these were gaping. If I had not been wearing pants, and rest assured I was wearing pants, it would have been like arrested for indecent exposure type gaping. So yeah, that was fucking irritating. But then you lot are all fucking brilliant. I love you all so much. I love the fact that when I posted that on the blog, firstly you were sympathetic to my plight whilst laughing just the right amount, which you should laugh in those situations. But then you shared your own mortifying moments to make me feel better, and I sat and read them, and I absolutely howled. And my favourite, for anybody who missed the post, my absolute favourite, which literally I was weeping reading this one, was a lady who said, this lady said I believe the story was that she was going out for a meal with her husband or her boyfriend, and he like said, okay, we're going to go out to get something nice and dress up and stuff. So she'd gone to get dressed out. She put on her nice clothes and her boots and her skirt, a little scarf, and she'd gone out and she'd gone there, sat down there, and they're chatting away in the restaurant, having like a nice drink together and chat. And then she suddenly realised that Instead, she thought she'd picked up to go around her neck a nice little chic black scarf. She'd picked up a pair of black tights, which she literally was wearing slung round her neck with the feet hanging downwards. And I wept laughing because I can so imagine that is so the kind of thing that I would completely do. I mean, hey, maybe we could start like a fashion statement. We could completely start a fashion statement. The other story I loved on the blog from the last week, which again some of you might have seen, so I wrote a blog post about fidgets. Fucking fidgets. My house is so full of fidgets. I'm going to be on one of those programs, I reckon, where they can't get through the front door because it's just like floor to ceiling with fucking fidgets. Interesting how the self-same children who were banging on about plastic pollution, and rightly so, seem to have no qualms when it comes to... I quizzed Beth on this. I said, so plastic pollution? She went, yeah, it's really bad. It's like killing the planet. I said, okay, so how do fidgets, i.e. those plastic fidgets, fit into that? She looked at me like I was an idiot. She went, well, I'm never going to get rid of my fidgets, and they're not going to pollute the planet, are they? Slightly flawed logic there, Beth, but I'll let you come back to that one. But the story that I loved on that post was written by a teacher who said that she'd been in an assembly one day and there had been a child messing around in assembly with a fidget spinner. And obviously there are some children for whom fidget spinners in an assembly type setup are really important if they perhaps are non-neurotypical or have need to have those in place. But she said that she knew this child didn't need a fidget spinner, just had a fidget spinner. So apparently she went and told him off and told him to stop playing it. It was going to be confiscated for the rest of the assembly. And then she took her seat again up at the front of the room. And then apparently at the end of the assembly, a colleague came over to her, killing herself laughing, and said, "You do realise that from the moment you took that fidget spinner away from that child, you were spinning it non-stop in your fingers until the end of the assembly." And I love both the story and the fact that she came and told us about it. Whoever you are, we applaud you. That is a superb story. But then the whole thing got me thinking about the many mortifying moments of my own that I have experienced over the years. And believe me, there are a lot. There are a lot of mortifying stories. And I think, particularly, there were lots when I was pregnant. Pregnancy and giving birth, I mean, that's just one big mortifying moment in itself, let's be honest. But pregnancy and giving birth certainly for me, seem to harbour a lot of, oh my God, it literally just occurred to me one that, okay, will I tell you this one? Yeah, I'll tell you this one. Well, so one of the idiosyncrasies about pregnancy is you have to wee in a fucking cup shitloads. Like, I think there should be, you can get like a provisional driving licence. I think somebody should take you through a training process of how to wee in a cup without pissing all the way up your arm. Because to my knowledge, and I've had 2 children, it's not fucking possible. And I remember my midwife saying to me really, really early on, when she came to do my booking appointment or something, she said, you'll need to bring a sample, bring it in a suitable container. And I sort of said, oh, what kind of thing would be suitable? And she just said very pithily, well, my advice based on the visit I did last week is don't put it in a Dolmio pasta jar that you haven't washed out properly, which is good advice, right? You don't know these things until you're told them. But I can remember one day running late for an appointment and going, shit, I need to wee in a cup, and I couldn't find the sample thing that I was using, whatever it was. It wasn't a Dolmio pasta sauce jar. And so I was running around the house looking for something, and I eventually found a bubble, like kids' bubbles that come in those little plastic pots and stuff. So I really, really quickly weed in the pots, obviously pissed right out my arm because it's impossible not to do that, and then put the lid on and then ran off to the surgery. And then the midwife, I got there and she took the wee out to check it and stuff, and then pissed herself laughing because of course there's a fucking wand, isn't there, on the lid of the fucking bubble pot. So I'm just pissed. What was I expecting her to do? Blow pissy bubbles? I mean, I'm sure that's not in the job description. But then you get so you do get kind of so conditioned to this weeing in the pot, but out of context it still takes you by surprise. So I remember I had to go in late pregnancy to go and I think have a scan or something. I had to go to the hospital. And I was in the waiting room. It was quite a hot day, and I was sitting in the waiting room, and the midwife or the assistant came out of the room while we were waiting and handed me a plastic cup. And I was like, oh, brilliant, because obviously important to stay hydrated when you're having a baby. And she sort of passed it to me, and I was expecting to see it was full of water, and it was empty. And I said, "Oh, brilliant! Thanks so much. Where do I go and get it?" And she looked at me like I was a moron, which, to be fair, I was in this scenario. And she looked at me, and I looked at her, and she looked at me, and I looked at her, and she raised her eyebrows, and I said, "The water, give me a cup, great. Is there a water machine?" And she very, very nicely said, "It's for your sample." So, I mean, it's good we clarified that, because otherwise, there are so many ways that story could have gone horribly, horribly wrong. I mean, children are really good for mortifying moments, aren't they? So I can, Jamie at nursery, kids come out with very honest truths at nursery, and to people that you don't want them to tell them to, but they also come up with fucking made up shit. So I remember they'd been talking about careers at nursery, like, what do your mum and dad do? And I came to pick Jamie up that evening, and his key worker was killing herself laughing, and I said, "Oh, what's happened?" And she said, "Well, we're talking to the children today about what the mum and dad did as jobs." I said, "Okay, what did Jamie say?" And he said, your husband's a train driver." I said, "To my knowledge, Mr. I don't need to stop talking, has never driven a train, but good, excellent, not sure where that one's come from." He said, "Oh yeah, no, Jamie says my daddy drives a train." Okay, cool, good, he doesn't, but why let facts get in the way of a good story? And then she said, and then she started laughing again, and I said, "Oh God, what did he say about me?" And I was thinking about the various components of my job that could be misinterpreted. And she said, "Oh no," she said, we said, "Jamie, what does your mummy do?" And he said, my mummy, she drinks loads and loads and loads of wine, and she does it all the time. I was like, good, excellent, marvellous. Geez, character assassination by a small child. So the train driving alcoholics, I think, is probably how we were referred to as a family from then on in. Like I said, there's nothing like your kids to give you a good character assassination. Although, to be fair, maybe that was better than at the same nursery. They got the children to draw their family. And, most of the kids had done a reasonably good likeness given their relative age of the family. And these were all they were all up the side of the stairs on the wall. And then there was one child, and I remember taking a surreptitious photo of it, which made me laugh so much. And I just don't know how you keep a straight face sometimes, because he'd drawn all 5 of his family members, and they all looked like massive hairy penises, every single last one of them. And I was crying, laughing. It was, it was a fantastic, fantastic moment. The trouble is sometimes mortifying moments creep up on you, because Jamie'd obviously been in nursery since he was 6 months old. So when he went to school, I was kind of like a little bit blasé by this point. I was kind of a little bit like, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine. He's starting school. He's gonna breeze it. No problem. He's gonna go off with his mummy. No problem." And they say pride comes before a fall, and my God, pride came before a fall, because I dropped him off at school on the first day. And obviously you're getting to know other parents, you're sussing each other out, you're trying to work out if anybody's going to drag you into joining the PTA even at this early stage, because you never know when it might be coming. And I was chatting away, and I knew a couple of them, and they were like to me, they were like, "Oh, you seem very calm." And I said, "Yeah, well, I'm used to sending Jay." They said, "You upset?" I said, "No, it's great. I'm ready for him to start school. He's ready to start. I'm sure he'll go in with no problems at all." I said, "Because I'm a colossal dick, and I say things like this." And sure enough, the teacher came out, and I said, "Right, go on then, Jamie, off you go, off to school, have a good day." And he turned around. He said, "Bye-bye, mummy," gave me a kiss, went straight in. I thought, look at me. I am acing parenting. I am smashing it right now. And about the moment that I had that thought, as I was walking back out the school gates, there suddenly came this commotion from behind me, and Jamie came herring out through the head teacher's legs. She kind of like tried to make this sort of drop tackle for him and missed him, screaming, "Mummy, there's no window!" And all the other parents went, "What the fuck? No window? What?" And of course I'd made a rookie error. I'd assumed that Jamie would be happy to go into school, because Jamie had always been happy to go into nursery. But Jamie was always happy to go into nursery because when he was taken into nursery, there was a massive window out the front from which he could go to the window, watch me, wave me off, and all was well. No fucking windows were there on the side of the school. So yeah, that plan backfired. So yeah, they ended up having to wrestle him back into the glass room. "There's no window!" And all the other parents were really nice, but I'm sure probably they were thinking, yeah, she probably counted her chickens a little bit too soon there. And I probably did. We were chatting about bra shopping this weekend. I don't know why. And my very long time blog readers will remember my original 108, I love you all lots. And this is definitely one for you, because when when Jamie was very little, we went bra shopping, and people have said to me that, why the hell did you take your kid bra shopping? And I'm like, what else was I meant to do with him? Like, put him in a box? I was going shopping. He came with me. And so I kind of, sort of explained the rudiments of what we did, and we kind of going around the shop and stuff, and found some bras to try on, some black bras. This is relevant. And all of a sudden, coming out of the change rooms, Jamie just shot past me in a way that only toddlers can run, with a bra on his head, because where else would you put it? With jazz hands, legs kicking, singing, I got the big black nipples, oh, I got the big black nipples, the big black nipples. And I wanted to hide in a hole. It was mortifying. And obviously, all the shop assistants were alternatively either pissing themselves laughing or absolutely appalled. I was like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, I got the big black nipples. Anyway, I wrote about this story. When I finished being mortified, I wrote about the story on the blog. And for some reason, and I don't understand the weird workings of how the internet really works, it ended up being on Google's front page of search results for big black nipples. You literally wrote in big black nipples and my blog would be on the top page. And before you're thinking, how the hell did you find that out? Like, there's some background analytics you could do on Blogger, which would tell you the most popular search terms people use to find your blog. So I do think even now there are probably a load of really disappointed perverts out there looking for big black nipples that instead got the story of Jamie and the big black nipples. So yeah, that was a glorious. That one was compounded by the fact that then we left the shop that day and I was like, fuck, we're out of there. And then we got back to the car and we'd walked through a very busy town centre and Jamie said, Mummy, you've got something on your bottom. And I turned around and on my bottom was a big massive sticker that I assume one of the children had placed there saying memory foam. Oh, blessed. Hashtag blessed. That's what I felt right there, right then. Tampons also feature very largely in my mortifying moments. There was the mechanic story. I might have told this one on here before, I can't remember. We had to go and pick the car up from the garage. Beth was very little. She was probably about 2. And it's a local garage, family-run garage. I know the guys who work there. I was going to say very well. I know them well enough to recognise them and be mortified at this story, not well enough to be able to laugh it off. So it was kind of like the perfect storm. And we're picking up the car and just chatting to the guys behind the desk. And Beth was rooting around in my handbag and I didn't really think anything of it at the time. And then the guy came in and said, right, it's all done. Got the keys, it's just outside the front. And Beth walked over to him. And she was holding something in her hand, and she was kind of pointing at him and, sort of saying, this is for you. She wanted him to take it. So kind of indulging the cute 2-year-old child. He's like, oh, you got something for me. What have you got? And he held out his hand and she dropped it into his hand and it was an unwrapped tampon and I wanted to die. And we all just stood there for like a hideous nanosecond before I grabbed it in my hand and literally I was like, oh, that's brilliant, thanks very much, okay, that's amazing. And then I hoped that maybe like I would, I don't know, never see that man again. I see him often. We never mention the day of the unwrapped tampon. But I know that he knows, that I know that he knows, that I know that he knows, and it is mortifying. Mortifying. And my other tampon story, which actually wouldn't need to be mortifying had I not made it mortifying. So I was dropping the kids off at school, and it was one of those mornings when I had just not dressed for the weather, and I say that knowing that pretty much every day I just do not dress for the weather. I have like no waterproof clothing, for example. I'm definitely not the kind of mum whose children have wellies, galoshes. I don't even know what a galosh is, but whatever a galosh is, they sure as fuck do not have it. And we parked up outside school and the heavens it was absolutely teeming down. It was that wet that rain was bouncing back up out of the puddles. I mean, it was absolutely fucking ridiculous. And so I said to the kids, right, we're just going to have to make a run for it. There's nothing we can do. And I think Beth probably made some pithy comment about me turning the rain off, which obviously, I laughed, but she was deadly serious. No, I can't turn the rain off. And so we ran in and Beth was howling because I think she thought I was trying to force her to start swimming lessons against her will. So I flung her at her teacher and then I ran around the other side of the school with Jamie. He was laughing his head off. He thought it was great. And I got back into the car and it's relevant that on this particular morning, I had to go straight from the school to my office to conduct a very important meeting. And I got into the car, I was absolutely drenched, and I looked in the rearview mirror. Now I wear a lot of makeup, and I wear specifically a lot of black eyeliner. And I can only describe myself, I can't even describe what I looked like. I looked like absolute fucking wreck, because all of my very black eyeliner had just cascaded down the sides of my face. I mean, I would have been more dry if I'd gone for a bath. That's how wet I was. Now again, properly prepared parents would have had a little packet of tissues for this moment. Really organised ones might even have had some wipes, makeup remover. I had fuck all. I did not have time to get home before I needed to get into the office for my very important meeting. So I was about to despair and go, okay, I'm just going to have to go in and style it out, when I suddenly realised I had a solution. And so it was that I sat outside my children's school and unwrapped 2 tampons, took them out of their paper wrapping and out of their applicator, and used unused tampons to wipe the eyeliner from my face, which I can't decide is either absolute fucking genius or it's more messed up than I can even start to articulate. And to be honest, that wouldn't have been that mortifying because nobody saw me doing it until, because I literally have no filter whatsoever, I got to my work and announced to everybody what I'd done, and they all killed themselves laughing. And my boss still likes to remind me about this moment now. And yeah, it's gone down slightly in the annals of history. I was the woman who sat outside her children's school and used unwrapped tampons to wipe eyeliner from her face. Yay me! Hashtag life goals. That's it. Just living that. And obviously, you know, breastfeeding, anybody who's ever breastfed a child, you have multiple mortifying occurrences. But my favourite at the time was, I think it was Beth, because I think, like, first child, you have to sit, well, I had to sit in, like, a very particular position, very awkwardly, to try and breastfeed. It's very difficult. Second child, I could have, I was going to say I could have done backflips while breastfeeding. Breastfeeding or otherwise, I could never do a backflip, but you're far more casual about it with second child. So I was just, like, wandering around the house. I had, like, Beth breastfeeding and, like, cracking away and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then the doorbell went, and it was the post lady, lovely post lady at the time. You probably know where this story is going. So I opened the door, and she'd, you know, kind of seen me when I was pregnant. And she said, oh, it's the baby. And I was like, yeah, it's the baby. We had the baby and everything. So chatting away. And then Beth kind of, like, you know, she wanted to say hi to Beth and everything. We had a long conversation. And then I shut the door and realised I'd stopped breastfeeding Beth quite some time ago. And I just had a long conversation on my front doorstep on a very busy main road with my tit hanging out. Yeah, so mortifying moments, I have lived them, and do you know what, those aren't even my most mortifying moments, but when I was kind of putting together material for today's podcast, I did kind of think, you know, how mortifying do I want to go? And I have concluded that, yeah, there's some things that even, I'd need to be several glasses of wine down, and I might think about sharing them, but, you know, I don't want to put everybody off their Sunday dinners, so we'll keep those for another day. But yeah, your stories really made me laugh in what was a bit of a shitty week, so I was very, very, very grateful for them. And yeah, living the dream, honestly. I just think, I look at all these people out there who look so suave and have their life so pulled together, and I think, that's so not me. But maybe it's none of us, right? Maybe we're all just trying to style it out, and secretly we're all sitting outside our kids' school wiping eyeliner from our faces with an unwrapped tampon. Actually, no, that probably is just me, isn't it? Just me. Good times. I hope you all have really lovely weeks this week. I am off to, well, I might try and relive my last night at the Proms experience again with the children. I'm sure they'll be really grateful for that by making them all sing Jerusalem. And then I'm certain it's, you know, Sunday evening. I'm pretty certain that, give it 30 minutes, somebody's going to come and announce to me that they've got some massive fuck-off piece of homework that they've completely forgotten to tell me about that will almost certainly require several organic vegetables, a creation from the recycling bin, and a form that should have been sent back to school about 3 weeks ago. So yay for Sunday evenings. But I hope you're all well. I hope you've had good weeks. I hope they haven't been as mortifying as some of those examples were. Look after yourselves, my loves. Take care. I'll see you next week. Lots of love. Bye-bye.